there, fans. Welcome back to our channel. Welcome back to another toy review, and this time I am going to present a 2-pack. I've actually been looking forward to this 2-pack since it was announced, mainly because of Sabertooth. I have so many Wolverines I don't know what to do with, so I'm not really too keen about Wolverine, especially like him in regular clothing. I mean, if you do some stuff with it, like photos and stuff like that, it might be pretty cool, right? If you play around your figures that way. But if it's just for display, not a big deal. But anyhow, let's get into it, right? You've got the package here. You can see you've got the 2 characters. You got 2 different head sculpts, which is nice. Got a couple of different hands. You got some accessories. It looks like Gambit's cards. Maybe that's Wolverine while he's playing poker on his own. I'm a big poker guy myself. At least I used to be. It's just gotten way too expensive now. You know what? I'm a low stakes kind of guy. I like playing like just recreational poker, like, you know, dollar bets and stuff like that. It's gotten to the point where it's like $5 minimum bet. You can very easily spend like $100 just on one game alone. Forget about it. If I have to worry about losing a lot of money, then it's not fun for me, right? I just like to do it recreationally. I used to do it with my high school friends all the time. We used to play for like 25 cents or whatever. Anyhow, you got here some art on the side. Flipping on over to the back, you've got, it looks like this is, I don't know if this is based on some type of comic. We've got a comic here. So, I mean, this is before my time, more than likely, based on the artwork. But actually it's not, because this costume is specific to Jim Lee. Jim Lee was in the 90s, so this was probably afterwards, but nonetheless, you got a cool looking Sabertooth on the side, right? From above, right? You got 50 years, nothing much down below. Let's go ahead and crack this guy open. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and move our X-Men sign out of the way. Put him back there, actually. And then I've got here Logan, right? And he's in his normal clothes. And then I'm gonna add in here Sabertooth. Rawr! Sabertooth is their rivals. Look at the height difference between Sabertooth and Wolverine. This is what I actually like, when there's accuracy in the height between 2 characters, right? Phenomenal characters. You've got, you know, 2 very, like, they're like, I don't know, doppelganger rivals, I guess, right? They both have healing factors. They both have these animalistic components to their personalities, right? Wolverine, you know, one thing about Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is that, to me, Hugh Jackman was too tall to be Wolverine. He looked really, really close to Wolverine, but he was too tall. But I mean, it's a minor detail based on that guy's performance of the character, right? Let's take a look at each character. This is a little bit weird. I don't think his foot is completely flat. I don't know. It feels kind of weird to pose him up. But here you've got Wolverine. His hat does not come off, so you cannot have Wolverine without his hat. He's got the great detail of wrinkles all throughout his clothes, right? You can see he fits in that shirt really good. The wrinkles throughout the jeans. He's got his claws, and yes, they do come out. So let's see if I can put that back in there. Okay, well, I shouldn't have done that. At least not live. All right, we'll leave that on there for now, like that. So, you know, nice attention to detail. He's got his, as you can see here, his face, serious face. It's got his poker face on, I guess, right? And so that's what to stand this guy is really tricky. There's something up with his shoes that just doesn't stand right. It's weird. His feet are just weird as far as position. Let's move on to Sabertooth. Look at this. Sabertooth's face is fierce, ferocious, right? Great detailing in the mane of his costume here. This looks phenomenal all the way through. You can see it's on his hair, on his sideburns, his eyebrows, everything. The costume is classic to Jim Lee. You've got the nails, right? The sharp claws of his, right? He's really beefy. He's a solid figure, man. This is the only reason I bought this 2-pack. And you know what? It stinks from a consumer aspect that I had to dish out so much for this. But from a marketing perspective, I mean, it's genius if you think about it, right? You give a character that everybody wants and a character that not so many people are going to get, right? Your hardcore Wolverines that can't get enough. You know, you put them together, and guess what? Now you gotta pay for both of them. So, you know, it is what it is. I don't, you know, whatever. What frustrates me is I had to pay like extra than what the original price to get this guy, because again, it's just so popular, this particular box set. Let's take a look at their accessories, right? All right, and here are each of the characters with their accessories. Not a whole lot of accessories, to be quite frank. This head sculpt for Logan, I'm gonna bring this closer here, it's the exact same facial expression, so it's not that it's a different face, but the color of the hat is black instead of brown. I'm not sure what significance that has. It's probably tied into that comic that I don't know about that's featured on the package. So I would have preferred a different expression as well as the hat. But anyhow, he's only got 2 sets of hands. So he's got the fist that he comes with. He's got a set of hands here that are semi-open. Looks like this could probably hold a sword, since, you know, Wolverine has that martial arts background. This one's kind of open. I don't know. Maybe he's holding a cup. Maybe he's holding a beer. Oh well, he can hold the he can hold the cards that he comes with, right? You put it in there somewhat. I don't know if that'll stick. Like, I don't know if that'll stay or whatever. Like, you're gonna have to really arrange it carefully in order to get that to really stick. But it's something like that, right? So yeah, not a whole lot as far as accessories. Now on Sabertooth, you get a different facial expression, which is good. So here he's snarling, right? He's, you know, if he was a wolf, he'd be trying to bite you right about now. And here he's grinning. So great detail in the facial sculpt. You can see that. Look at that expression. It's so wicked, so evil. Just reminds me of the 90s cartoon, right? And his you know, voice, you know, type of thing, right? And then, you know, you've got Logan here on this side, right? So it just imagine, right? This guy's calling him a runt. Come on, runt! And then you've got Wolverine, right? And he's like, whatever, you know, type thing, you know. So, and then as far as hands go, you got the open hands, right, with the claws. And this one, his hand is a little bit more in a, I don't know, claw position, like he's about to scratch, about to rip out a lung or something like that. You know, when he swings at you, same thing here. A little bit more, the hand's a little bit more closed. Great detail on the hand, though. Look at that. That's just, I don't know if it's coming through on the camera or not, but man, the level of detailing is really, really nice. So that's pretty much about it. I mean, you can't expect a whole lot with these guys because of, they don't really have like external powers. But I would have really liked to have seen maybe like some, I don't know, something that looks like they're slicing at each other, you know, some type of slice effect or something like that would have been cool. But here's what I want to do next. I'm not too worried about the Wolverine. There's dozens of Wolverines. It is what it is. It's pretty much the, I don't know, like the same mold. Almost, right? In this case, it's probably different because of the shirt. I don't know. I'm not detail oriented. But I do want to compare him to a couple of different Sabertooths that have come out in the past. There was like about 2 years ago, and I have it, a Sabertooth that came out with this exact same costume. And I was excited when it came out, but when I saw the pictures of it, I was disappointed because he looks so skinny. Sabertooth is not a skinny character. This is an accurate Sabertooth in my opinion. So let's go ahead and bring those characters or those action figures in here and let's compare them just to take a closer look. All right, and here we've got, this is actually first appearance Sabertooth. As you can see here, little bit smaller. Maybe I should stand him up straight just so he can get a better idea as opposed to having him in some type of action pose, right? All right. So now, this is, like I said, first appearance Sabertooth, right? This is like what he looked at the very beginning of his early comic book life. And as you can see here, there's a height difference between the two characters, and there's also a mass difference, right? The mass on this version of Sabertooth, much bigger, much thicker, right? Much more intimidating. And but this is how Sabertooth was drawn. He wasn't, his body type wasn't as exaggerated as it was in the 90s. So this is a really good Sabertooth as far as a first appearance Sabertooth, and I absolutely love it, right? As far as, you know, Hasbro being able to capture the essence of the character when he first appeared against Wolverine. So good for the first appearance, or I should say great for the first appearance, and obviously there's a huge difference. If you ask me which I prefer the 90s one, because that's what I grew up with, but he's more intimidating. You could see even the facial expressions, right? He looks a little sick and twisted here. He looks ferocious here, right? So I kind of like this one a lot more in every aspect, right? Let's bring in the next character. Now, this one's a personal favorite because he's kind of like an anti-hero. He replaces, I guess, Wolverine, if you will, on the X-Men, but it is Age of Apocalypse Sabertooth. Now, Age of Apocalypse Sabertooth comes with Wild Child, not as far as a figure, but as far as like a coupling, if you will, in the sense that, you know, he looks after Wild Child. They got each other's back. I don't remember the story of how I think he saved Wild Child from Apocalypse at some point, and they became like instant friends. But I think Wild Child was like limited in a bunch of things, so Sabertooth is the guy. Now, here, check this out. Check this out. So Sabertooth, Age of Apocalypse Sabertooth, looks a little bit bigger. They're almost the same height, but I think I got him leaning. Hold on. Let me try and see if I can stand him up correctly. Okay. He's still leaning a little bit. So if I stand him up straight, he's like, I don't know, like an inch taller maybe, if that, or half an inch. But different molds from what I can see. But as far as like the mass of Sabertooth, he's right in line. He's right in line. Not that huge of a difference, but you can see here he doesn't have the snarling nails. He doesn't look as villainous. He's one of my favorites in the Age of Apocalypse series. Again, if you have not read up on the Age of Apocalypse comics, the original one, I would highly recommend it. It's such a good story, and it's such a shame that we can't keep getting it. We can't seem to get it in a cartoon series. Closest that we got was back in the original X-Men 90s cartoon, where it, they tried to do, and I don't know if that series or that episode came out before the comics. So if they did, then I get it. But they tried to do something similar. Wolverine and the X-Men, the cliffhanger at the end of the first season indicated that we would do a Age of Apocalypse for season 2, and I was so stoked about that. But unfortunately, it never happened, never materialized. But it's such a good story, definitely worth reading up. And obviously, because it's an event that resets time, it goes into all the other comics. So it's not just X-Men that were impacted. It was Astonishing X-Men, Gambit and the Exiles. Like you changed all these different titles instead of I think it was instead of X-Force, and then you had X Factor, right? Everything changed within the X universe. Let's put it that way. So you'd probably need to get all of those comics just to get every detail. But I mean, if you just get the basics, you should have enough. Like just a regular X-Men cartoon or comics, you should have enough to understand the story. Good story. Good story. All right, let's get into the main compare that I'd like to do, which is, and I don't remember what Build-A-Figure this. It might have been the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure, but it is Sabertooth. Now, trying to get him to stand before I set him up there. Okay, there we go. All right, so you could see here that there's a size difference, right? His body is a little bit more slender than what I'd like. I like the facial expression. Let me see if I can bring that in there. That facial expression isn't too bad. It's good, right? You don't see, like in this one here, you see his gums showing, right? Which is a little bit more fierce. Almost looks vampiric here. Anyhow, the level of detailing is really nice on the figure. So differences in the color. The orange is slightly brighter on this side, just a notch, but the brown is more chocolate. It's more like a deeper chocolate. This one's like a milk chocolate. So there's a difference there, but you could see the body size is massively different between the two. This guy looks bigger, broader, his shoulders are broader, right? The latissimus dorsi, which is this part underneath your arm right here that's connected towards your back, that muscle seems to protrude a lot more. You know, his look at the muscle tone in his quads. I mean, they bulk out a little bit more. So to be quite frank, this is a much nicer figure. You can see the difference in the mane also. The mane here is like a gray. It honestly, the way that it looks, this kind of blends in with his hair. So it almost looks like you're looking at a lion, right? Because lions are the ones that have manes, right? Even though it's a saber-tooth. Here, there's a distinction between the two, and it just doesn't flow as nice for me color-wise, right? When we're looking at the color palette, it's the only like gray thing on him, right? There's nothing else that's gray, so it kind of throws it off ever so slightly for me. So much better upgrade, to be quite honest with you. I like this figure so that they don't take both spots. I'll probably end up giving this one to my nephew. He's 4 years old. He's getting to that stage where he can, you know, get my action figures, right? But yeah, definitely the superior figure, definitely the one worth getting. If you were lucky enough to find this box set for this Sabertooth, highly recommend it. If not, you're probably either which way, you're probably gonna have to pay a good amount, either for the box set in itself or for Sabertooth on its by its own, because both just seem to be, I mean, it's a hard product to come across, unfortunately. All right, and here we've got all four Sabertooth looking fierce, awesome looking group. Again, if you don't have this figure, I would highly recommend getting it if you can find it. The price is a killer, so be ready to pay a steep amount. I think I paid $30 above retail for this set, so be prepared to shell out some cash. But again, I think it's worth it based on the figure itself, based on the sculpting, based on the size. To me, the size is so important, right? It's one of the things that I really like. I look down on when Hasbro does like Transformers, and you've got, like, for instance, Starscream is a jet. There's no way he's the same size as like someone like Ironhide, who's just a car. Although Ironhide is big, but not supposed to be the same size as a jet or fighter jet, right? Fighter jets are just much bigger than cars, right? So you know, when you have those types of things, like in the RED line, right, they're all pretty much the same size, which is a little bit frustrating. You know, RC is almost the same size as Optimus, and so on and so forth. So I think paying attention to height and body type and size is really, really important when it comes to action figures. So guys, that's my review. Honestly, I give this character solid 10. He is absolutely wonderful. I have no gripes, no complaints whatsoever. Unlike I had with this version of Sabertooth, this guy is far superior. He's a 10 out of 10. Guys, that's it. That's it for my review. Thanks so much for joining. I will see you guys next time. Peace out till all are one.